Hey everybody, my name is Teresa and welcome back to another TB Styles video. Listen, today's video is a serious one. I wanted to come and share my firsthand account of my experience from receiving my first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, if you're like me, you probably follow tons of people on social media, Facebook, Instagram. There's so much information out there, but it's up to you to decipher what information is good information and what information is not so good information. I've heard all kinds of things about the vaccine, that it's killing people, that people are getting sick, that it's just so much information out there. I would advise you to do your research, right? There's so many different resources out there that can provide you with factual information about the vaccine itself. A good place to start would be the cdc.gov. I actually went there and educated myself on different things that I needed to know or wanted to know about the vaccine before deciding to take the vaccination or get vaccinated myself. So let's start with the facts, right? So I actually have cdc.gov pulled up here. You probably can't see it pulled up here on my phone, and just want to kind of share some of the facts with you about the vaccine itself. So the first thing that it says, what we need to know, vaccines are becoming widely available in the coming months, which is why it's important, right, for you to educate yourself about the vaccine. Now, as far as the safety of the vaccine itself, they say here, the very first line on the CDC's website is that COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. They go on to say that these vaccines cannot give you COVID-19. Like, that's one of the things that I've heard, is that the government is poisoning us and they're actually giving us the virus, and people are having all of these different effects from receiving the vaccination. According to the cdc.gov, that's not true. So they're not actually giving you COVID-19. They do, however, say that you may have side effects after the vaccination, but these side effects are normal. So I've taken vaccines since I've been a little girl, right? If you've been in elementary school, 9 times out of 10, you've received some type of vaccination as a child, whether it be for chicken pox or whatever. As an adult, I take the flu shot every single year, and honestly, I've been fine. So what is the COVID-19 vaccine? We keep hearing the words vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine. We've learned about Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Moderna, but what exactly is the COVID-19 vaccine and what's the purpose of it, right? So once again, I'm no doctor, I'm no expert, and I'm getting my information from the cdc.gov, which I encourage you guys to go on and read, because there's a lot of material there for you around the COVID-19 vaccine. So the cdc.gov, they state that COVID-19 vaccines teach our immune systems how to recognize and fight the virus that causes COVID-19. It typically takes 2 weeks after vaccination for the body to build protection, which is immunity, against the virus that causes COVID-19. So the purpose is to keep us all safe, right? We want to reach population immunity so that we can go out and live our lives, or live the lives that we did prior to the whole pandemic. So now that we have the facts of the vaccine itself from the cdc.gov, I want to talk about me, right? I want to talk about me, my health, things of that, which may give you an idea of just when you're doing a self-examination of yourself, if you're still deciding that you want to take the vaccine. So first off, I am obviously African American. I'm 35 years old, and I have not had any major health issues or anything like that. I've never had any extended hospital stays or even overnight hospital stays at all. No allergies. So pretty much a clean bill of health, I would say. Other than just a little bit of extra weight that I have on me, I would say that I am relatively healthy. I do exercise on a regular basis now. That has not always been the case, but I do now. I take my vitamins. I did do a video in which I talk about the vitamins that I take as a 35-year-old woman. I'll put a link up here, if you guys want to check out that video. So I am relatively healthy. So I had no qualms about going in and taking the vaccine. If you are someone who has suffered from different health issues in the past, you may want to consult your doctor just to make sure that this is in fact the right avenue for you to take as far as vaccination is concerned. So once you have decided that you want to take the COVID-19 vaccine, the CDC still recommends that you follow the basic rules that we've been hearing all 2020. Wash your hands, stay 6 feet apart, wear a mask, double mask if necessary, and do all of the things that we've been hearing, all of the things that the experts have been sharing. Even if you are vaccinated and you have decided that you want to take advantage of the vaccine, you still want to make sure that you are following the rules to keep others safe who may not necessarily have been vaccinated as of yet. So let's talk side effects, right? Like I said earlier, we've heard so many different things about side effects, what's going to happen to you when you get your COVID-19 vaccine. The CDC does list things on their website that you can expect as far as side effects are concerned. Some of those things include swelling, redness, and pain at the injection site, fever, headache, tiredness, muscle pain, chills, and nausea. All of those things are things that will pass away, right? They're not lingering, they're not going to cause any long-term health effects. But once again, like I said, I want to keep saying this over and over again. Do check with your doctor, self-evaluate, just to make sure that this vaccine is for you. Because although I sit here and say that, swelling is not going to cause any long-term effects, everyone is different and may have a different reaction. So the moment that you guys have all been waiting for, you are probably wanting to know, what was my experience? Did I have any side effects? What happened to me and my husband, because he did go along with me when we took our first dose of the vaccine. So first of all, we received the Pfizer vaccination. Our experience was a very pleasant one. I believe they gave everyone the same appointment. First of all, we decided to go with the local hospital system here in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is Novant Health. For some reason, I just felt more safe going that route as opposed to going to, some of the smaller sites, some of the grocery stores and things like that, who were also administering the vaccine. So we decided to go with Novant Health, and they set up what's, equivalent to like a mass vaccination site. When I was making the appointment, they give you the appointments, and they were 2 different time slots. His was at 9:45, mine was at 10:15. However, when we got to the location, the line was literally wrapped around the building. So it looks like they had rented out a huge warehouse and they set up this mass vaccination site. But honestly, it was so organized and well done that we were literally in and out within about 30 to 45 minutes, if that long. So we got in line, and once we got up to the door, we were ushered over to the registration line where they just asked just a few verification questions, like, can you state your name, date of birth, and your address? We didn't have to show ID or anything like that. We didn't have to prove that we were essential workers or anything like that. Now, I know each state is different, but North Carolina has just started as of, I think, a few days ago, April the 7th, I want to say, in which everyone is now eligible to receive the vaccine. But we went in to get our vaccine prior to that, due to us being essential workers in our employment fields. So once we went through and we signed in at the registration desk, we were then escorted into just the normal line so that we can be escorted to the room to take our physical shot. We stood in that line for probably maybe 5 minutes. Like, when I tell you that it was a smooth process. It was set up wonderfully. We didn't have any problems. We didn't have any long waits, even though there were people, and I mean, there were a lot of people. I would say well over 100 to 200 people, waiting to get their vaccine. But the line moved so swiftly. Like, there was literally a small wait, maybe a 5 to 7 minute wait, if anything, before we received our shots. But it was super, super, super seamless. So we went into a room. There were about 5 different stations set up. He went to one station, I went to another, and the nurse, I'm assuming she was a nurse, I'm not sure, I apologize to those of you in the medical field, I don't know the exact term or the exact title for her, the woman administering the vaccine. But she just asked me a few basic questions about my medical history, did I have any allergies, anything that, she needed to know about. She was very gentle. Like, the shot, literally, you can barely, or I barely even felt it, right? Go into my arm, literally 1, 2, 3, it was in. She had the bandage on, and then I was escorted to like a waiting area where you have to wait for about 15 minutes before you can actually leave the location, just to make sure that you don't have any issues or anything like that, any allergic reactions or anything that you may need to see a doctor for while on location. And after the 15 minutes were up, you grabbed your things and you walked out of the building. Like, it was literally that simple. Now, because I take the flu shot every single year, I expected to feel some type of arm soreness. That's just natural, right? You get a shot in your arm or a needle in your arm, and it's just a natural expectation that there's going to be some soreness. And just from doing research and talking to other people who had experienced their shots prior to me, I just expected that there would be some type of arm soreness. So I was doing like some arm exercises, just trying to keep it loose, My mom suggested that I take off my bandage just so that that area would not get stiff, which I did, and I think that did help. But after we left the site, like, we both felt fine immediately. We didn't feel any type of sickness or anything. Now, I would say for me personally, probably about an hour or 2 after receiving the injection, I felt some arm soreness. Now, not just regular arm soreness, definitely a bit more intense of a feeling than I felt from my normal flu shot. And that lingered on throughout the rest of the day into the night. So right at bedtime, I just took an ibuprofen. The ibuprofen, really helped. I slept it off. And the next day when I woke up, my arm felt fine. Like, there was minimal pain in that arm, if any at all. The next day, I personally started to feel some fatigue come on. Like, I would be fine in the morning, but then right at about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I just felt like I was just super, super, super tired, struggling to keep my eyes open. I had coffee and things like that, but I just still felt like really, really, really tired. And that fatigue, boy, I'm telling you, this week, I really felt it throughout most of the week. We got our shot on Tuesday, and when I'm filming this, today is Saturday, and I feel fine today. I even felt fine most of the day yesterday, but from Tuesday to, I would say, Thursday, I really, really, really just felt super tired. But other than that, guys, that's it. That's all I felt from the vaccine. So when you hear these stories of people who just talking about all of this misinformation and things that they've heard, not what they know, you've got to, try and see for yourself and do your research, because everybody is different. And like I said, for me and my husband, we've had no issues, no major issues, other than the 2 things that I mentioned, the arm soreness and the fatigue. Now, I also did work out quite a bit this week, and I worked out a little bit harder than normal. And I did have some body soreness, so I don't know if that necessarily came from the vaccine itself, or it could have been from, a combination of the vaccine and then me also exercising a bit harder this week. So I can't really say, but we are fine. We are fine. My mom, my dad, my grandma, my sister-in-law, cousins, they've all received their first dose of the vaccine, and everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. Now, I will say that you do have the right to choose, right? You have the right to not get vaccinated and, decide that you want to do this some other way. That's absolutely fine. That's the good thing about living in America. You have the right to choose. And I say that, we shouldn't look down on someone because they take the vaccine, and we shouldn't look down on someone because they decide that they don't want to take the vaccine. As long as you're still, doing the basics of wearing your mask, washing your hands, staying 6 feet apart, I think you're fine. I think you would be fine. But once again, I'll leave that to the professionals to decide. So yeah, that was pretty much my experience with receiving my first dose of the vaccine. They've actually went ahead and scheduled my husband and I for our second dosage in 3 weeks, which I'm super excited about. I've been hearing things about the second dosage of the vaccine and that the effects may be a bit more intense, but listen, we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. I'm excited to be fully vaccinated. So according to the CDC.gov, as I stated, they have released guidelines for those who have been fully vaccinated. Once again, CDC.gov is where I'm getting my information. They also have a couple of guidelines here of things that you shouldn't do once you've been fully vaccinated, but I'll leave that information for you to research for yourself and take a look at a later time. Go to the cdc.gov to find out more information there. Guys, when I tell you that my experience was a positive one for my first dose, and I have nothing but high expectations for the second dose when I do receive it. And of course, I'll come back and I'll share my experience after receiving the second dose as well. So guys, I really hope that this video has been somewhat helpful for you. If you have questions for me about my experience, feel free to leave comments down in the comment section below. But if you have questions about the COVID-19 vaccine itself, ask the experts. Ask your local doctor, or you can visit the cdc.gov and other websites that may have information that could be helpful to you. So until next time, guys, it's been a pleasure coming on just to share my experience with you guys. I hope you all are doing well wherever you are. And as I always say, until next time, I'm out. Peace.